Unit 7. Gateway. World population access to electricity. The above graph shows the world population access to electricity in 1997 and in 2017. The percentage of the total world population with electricity access in 2017 was 11 percentage points higher than that in 1997. Both in 1997 and in 2017, less than 80% of the rural population had access to electricity, while over 90% of the urban population had access to electricity. In 1997, 36% of the rural population did not have electricity access, while 5% of the urban population did not have access to electricity. The percentage of the rural population without electricity access in 2017 was 20 percentage points lower than that in 1997. The percentage of the urban population without electricity access decreased from 5% in 1997 to 3% in 2017. Exercise 1. Americans' preferred sites for leisure travel research, 2017. The above graph shows Americans' preferred sites for leisure travel research by generation in 2017. Of the 7 types of sites used for leisure travel research, millennials cited travel review sites as their most preferred type, while Generation Xers preferred going to online travel agencies the most. The baby boomers and older group preferred suppliers the most, and their preference for these sites was more than double that for travel review sites. On the other hand, the least preferred type of site for the baby boomers and older group was travel information/guide, which was also the least preferred among Generation Xers. 1 in every 10 millennials surveyed said that social networking sites were their preferred travel research sites, compared with 3% of Generation Xers and 1% of the baby boomers and older group. Lastly, traditional travel agency sites, aggregators, and travel information/guide were equally preferred by millennials with 5% respectively. Exercise 2. Global plastics consumption by industry in 2015. The table above shows global plastics consumption by industry in 2015. According to the table, the packaging sector was the largest user of plastics, representing 35.87% of all plastics consumed. The second largest consumer of plastics was the building and construction sector, consuming 65 million tons, which was less than half the amount of plastics used in the packaging sector. The textile sector accounted for 14.50% of the total plastics consumption in the world, which made it the third largest user after the packaging and building and construction sectors. The amount of plastics usage in the consumer and institutional products sector was 42 million tons, or 10.32% of the total plastics consumption, followed by 27 million tons, or 6.63% of the total plastics usage in the transportation industry. The electrical and electronics sector accounted for 4.42% of the total plastics consumption, which was more than half the amount of plastics consumed by the consumer and institutional products sector. Exercise 3. Total primary energy supply by region. The above graphs show the proportion of the world's total primary energy supply by region in 1971 and 2015. Between 1971 and 2015, the total primary energy supply more than doubled, increasing from 5,523 MTOE to 13,647 MTOE. Though comprising the largest amount, the OECD's share of the total primary energy supply significantly fell from 61% in 1971 to 39% in 2015. Taking second place in 2015, the share of non-OECD Asia's contribution to the total energy supply more than tripled between the 2 years. Meanwhile, with a much lower share than non-OECD Asia in 2015, non-OECD Europe and Eurasia became the third biggest energy-supplying regions, dropping from 16% in 1971 to 8% in 2015. Africa accounted for 6% of the total primary energy supply in 2015, which showed an increase of 2 percentage points between 1971 and 2015. Exercise 4. Asia Pacific's Top 10 Destination Cities by International Overnight Visitors and Cross-Border Spending, 2015. The table above shows the top 10 destination cities in the Asia Pacific region in 2015 by International Overnight Visitors and Cross-Border Spending. Each of the top 10 cities' popularity rankings in 2015 remained unchanged from 2014 except for that of Osaka, which moved into 10th place in 2015. In 2015, Bangkok was the top destination in the Asia-Pacific region with 18.24 million visitors, immediately followed by Singapore with 11.88 million visitors. Bangkok also saw the largest growth in the number of visitors from 2014 to 2015 among the top 10 cities, whereas Taipei and Shanghai saw the smallest increase. In terms of cross-border spending, Seoul led in the Asia-Pacific region with $15.2 billion in 2015, immediately followed by Tokyo with $8.4 billion. On the other hand, among the top 10 cities, Osaka was the city where international overnight visitors spent the least money in 2015.